Thank you, French. Much shalom greetings to you all. I'd like to send out birthday greetings to my great friend and teacher, Rabbi Monty Sugarman, the youngest 65-year-old I know. I hope it was a great one, kid. Well, welcome to March. In like a lion and out like a lamb, and I guess with Easter at the end of the month, that lamb analogy is kind of true. Now, in a normal year, this and the next parsha are read together, but this year's not a normal year. This was a leap year in the Gregorian calendar, so I hope you all had a great February the 29th. Now, it's also a leap year in the Hebrew calendar, except while the solar year has a leap day, the lunar year has a leap month. And I guess the amphibian year has a leap frog. Anyhow, the leap year celebrated in the Gregorian calendar is, of course, every 4 years. Kind of. Except in certain years divisible by 100, but you do not have to worry about it because I think the next non-qualifying one is 2100. Well, the Hebrew cycle has 7 leap years in a 19-year cycle. And I suspect that 19-year cycle may have something to do with the lunar nodes. Now, due to the leap month of the Hebrew year, there are 2 Adars, 2 Pisces. And what a great sign to double. One fish, our souls going one way. One fish, our spirits going the other. Or our bodies and our minds. Or to some ancients, the 2 souls of the primordial Elohim, the male and the female, submerged in the conscious and the subconscious flow of time. They can flow together or they can fight each other all the way. Let us hope you do not fight yourself in the 2 months ahead. But because of the extra month, Passover, which goes hand in hand with Easter, since they are the same celebration of freedom, are a month apart this year, and that, my friends, feels strange. Easter would have qualified for Hemingway's description of Paris as a movable feast. And that is a feast day that falls on the same day of the week each year, but which has a date that varies. Unlike Christmas, which is always December the 25th, but will always be a different day of the week. And in a few weeks, we'll talk a little bit more about it. And of course, the month of Adar, Pisces, heralds another famous holiday. The holiday of Purim, a celebration of a failed genocide, and one that has been called the Jewish Halloween. And we will talk about it when it comes up. And Purim begins the evening of March 23rd this year, just a day before Easter. So there is a big month of celebrating coming up. Now, I came across a great TV channel the other night, a retro channel, that shows things from the 50s, the 60s, even the 70s and 80s, which I really don't think of as being so retro. But this channel had the first George Reeves Superman episode. Remember George from Gone with the Wind? And of course his brother Steve in all those great Hercules movies. And when you see Superman versus Batman in a few weeks, you can see how far the presentation of Superman has come. Now he saves the universe, then he saves some guy hanging from a Zeppelin. Man, there's got to be a whole lot of love in there somewhere. But I'm watching with my wife, who has never seen this show. In fact, she never really watched TV till she met me. So it's truly fascinating to watch with her. And she sees Kal-El, the baby Superman, and Superman's parents put him in a rocket wrapped in a blanket to send him to Earth to save him. And she says, it's like the baby Moses being saved from the decree of death. And I thought, what a fantastic way to look at it. Who would have thought Superman was simply Moses? Well, I thought it was a great way to look at it. She's off for a month or so doing some work in a cancer clinic out west. Have a great trip, my dear. Friends, we talked about the illusions of this section of Torah. The building of the great tabernacle. When people join together with a common goal, with love and desire in their hearts, we can do great things. The joint effort of the people working together created a spiritual house worthy of God's dwelling presence. The building of the tabernacle required each person to contribute to the work from his own skill set. The tanners did the tanning. The weavers did the weaving. The carpenters did the carpentry, and the metalsmiths did the smithing, and so on. Each person had something to offer from his own unique vocational skills. The Torah, or teaching of life, is not just the life of religious ritual and scripture study. God encourages all of us to develop our own unique vocational skills so that we can each be self-sufficient and we can each contribute to the common good of the community. The Torah teaches us to find some productive field of work so that we will have adequate resources to share with others who might be in need. These guidelines teach us that making a living is part of living out the Torah. The early rabbis agreed with these sentiments. And I sometimes think of the following rabbinic quotation from Mishnah Avot 2:2, if you really want to know, about the value of combining Torah study with an occupation. The study of Torah is excellent when it is combined with a worldly occupation because the effort required by both keeps sin out of a person's mind. But when there is no worldly occupation, the study of Torah amounts to nothing and leads to sin. Let everyone who works in the community work for the sake of the name of heaven. Now, according to this view, a person should always combine his pursuit of spirituality with the pursuit of an income. To concentrate solely on religious matters is out of balance and will eventually lead to ruin. Now, I know a lot of guys who simply spend their days in religious studying of all faiths and doing no work. And most of them are out of touch with reality. We all need to study, but we all need to be making tents too. And the building of the tabernacle illustrates the tent-making concept well. The combined efforts of the people of God, as they labored in all their respective fields, resulted in the building of God's house. You know, when Moses announced the plan to build the tabernacle, he did not hire any fundraising consultants. He did not need a high-pressure pledge drive. Moses asked only those with willing hearts to give to the work of the tabernacle. The building of God's holy house was not to be sullied with contributions that had been pried loose from people who were reluctant to donate to the work. Exodus 35:21. Everyone whose heart stirred him and everyone whose spirit moved him contributed freely. I've been to Hollywood, I've been to Redwood, I've crossed the ocean for a heart of gold. I've been in my mind at such a fine line that keeps me searching for a heart of gold. We all have hearts of gold. But I'm sure there were probably many among the children of Israel who did not contribute to the work. Some had a willing heart, and others did not. Those who were unwilling to give excluded themselves from the privilege of having a share in building God's house. Friends, the story of the building of the tabernacle teaches us that there are two types of people, those with willing hearts and those with unwilling hearts. Think of your fellow man, lend them a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart. The lesson of this parsha is about following the heart, giving from the heart. Too many give from the head thinking, what's in it for me? The heart is the repository of love, the one universal spiritual law that supersedes all laws. Vayakel, and he assembled. Now you may think you read this already. Just a few weeks ago we saw the plans drawn up for the great symbols of worship, and now we see the actual construction. In fact, within this parsha, chapters 36 to 39 contain a verbatim repetition of the tabernacle details, now reporting that the work was carried out. What this does is, it doubles the message that the tabernacle is supremely important. It is the channel through which divine and human will communicate. And again, it is something people can get so wrapped up in. The materials, the dimensions, the intricacies, the art, the fashion. And I'm reminded of the scene in Indiana Jones and the Something, where they had to guess which was the cup of Christ. Someone chose the richest and someone the poorest. Yes, we all want to honor God with the fanciest abode, but you know what? He really does not live there. He simply visits occasionally, and he rarely spends the night. And nothing we construct can actually contain him anyhow. So it's okay to build a tabernacle in your heart, and as blasphemous as this will sound, give instead to programs that do good. And as Israel begins to construct the tabernacle, the most holy space on earth, they are reminded of the importance of the sanctification of time as well. But we are going to see changes starting to occur. Now, whether this points to Moses adding to the law, something we are told not to do, whether it points to a different time when this was written, whether it's because God explained more to Moses and we're not told that, things change. For example, Moses really begins where he left off talking about the Sabbath, but he adds, Exodus 35:3, "You shall not burn a fire in all of your homes on the Sabbath day." Now, classical commentators ask, why fire is singled out from all the things forbidden on the Sabbath? But even more essentially, we may ask how Moses comes to be mentioning fire at all. He appears to be giving the people the commandment that God had instructed him to give regarding working 6 days and ceasing on the seventh. But then he adds the part about fire, which was not in God's instruction. Fire has not been associated with the Sabbath until now. Why does Moses add it? What has happened between the instruction and Moses' fulfillment of it? Well, fire has actually been mentioned twice since then. Aaron has claimed that the golden calf came out of a fire, and so fire is associated with creation. And Moses has destroyed the calf with fire, and so it is associated with destruction. And sometimes the greatest questions come from not what's said, but what isn't. Fire is a fascinating thing to focus on. It is forbidden only at home, not at the tabernacle. It was the sign of the God of Exodus and of the Epiphany. So while we cease, like God, our creative ability gets limited and our community ability is limited at home, but not at the tabernacle. Now, it also could be a permanent reminder or commemoration of the golden calf incident by singling out its creation and destruction. Just as there's a later prohibition against playing musical instruments on the Sabbath, which was instituted as a memorial of the destruction of the temple. Now, the Sabbath is about separation and sanctification of time. It is about peace and regeneration, about family and about community. No, friends, this parsha is not about the building of any of these fantastic objects. It is about community. We need to belong to community, and we need it to feel it in our hearts. Exodus 35:20, and all of the congregation of the children of Israel went out from in front of Moses. 35:21, and everyone whose heart inspired him came. 35:22, and the men came together with the women, all whose hearts moved them. 35:29, every man and woman whose heart moved them to bring for all the work that the Lord had commanded to do by the hand of Moses, the children of Israel brought a contribution for the Lord. And on and on. The men and women come together, and those whose hearts move them give. The heart, the organ of love and understanding, that which allows us to be empathetic, giving, compassionate. The central chakra, and on the tree of life, the central sphere, the only one connected to all the others. Didn't the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes bigger by being nice? You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You have garlic in your soul. His heart grew, and yours can grow too. Heart of mine, be still. You can play with fire, but you'll get the bill. The Bible has been seen over time, my friends, as somewhat of a sexist book. In fact, in many ways, the religion had undergone a shift in a sexist way, which might be changing, given the advent of female rabbis and the reform move to allow women at the Western Wall. But a book that had so many references separating between men and women now talks of them coming together. Now, given that the Torah usually either focuses on men alone or else uses the masculine plural to refer to all Israelites as a group, this section stands out for referring repeatedly to both females and males, participating together. It would appear women even worked at the tabernacle. Exodus 38:8. And he made the basin of bronze and its stand of bronze with the mirrors of the women who served at the entrance of the tent of meeting. The central point is that the women and men are equally enthusiastic in support of the sacred place. They make their gifts together. Come together right now over me. The people are bringing more than enough. In fact, there is a paradox about sacrifice. People are commanded to do it, yet sacrifices are regarded as a free will offering. The same applies here at the point of the establishment of Israel's entire ritual structure. The people are commanded to bring donations, yet they act with a kind of zeal that reflects more than just obedience to a commandment. They bring far more than what was required of them. And this is an essential concept, ultimately, for the entire notion of law and commandment in Judaism. The law is not regarded as a burden. It is mandatory, yet one fulfills it out of choice and with joy. And therefore the word for commandment, mitzvah, has two meanings even to this day. It means a law that must be obeyed, but it is also commonly understood to mean a good deed freely performed. Giving from the heart, coming together. These are what makes community. And all of you who join me each week, you are a community of men and women, and you're led by your hearts to participate, to share, to encourage, to learn, to create, to honor the piece of sacred time and sacred space in your lives. Yes, my friends, you gotta have heart. All you really need is heart. When the odds are saying you'll never win, that's when a grin should start. You gotta have heart. The world is sacred, so is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light, and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everyone you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, an end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other, we share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send peace, harmony, good healing to all who need it. And please do. Forgive and love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have, and remember the journey is yours to enjoy. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. And share the light with all who live in the light and all who need the light. Remember to keep opening your hearts. The words of the great Ray Charles: unchain my heart. Baby, let me be. Unchain my heart, because you don't care about me. You got me all sewed up like a pillowcase, but you let my love go to waste. Unchain your hearts. Don't waste love, my friends. Bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light and peace and healing. And thanks. Send your goodwill to those who need it, and keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep teaching, keep sharing, keep shining, keep spreading your holiness. And thank you all for joining me. Shabbat Shalom.